Today we're tackling business essentials, but in a kind of unexpected way.
Oh, this is going to be good.
It is. We've got this source material, and it's like we're eavesdropping on two people just casually chatting about business
Yeah.
as they're learning English.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
You wouldn't believe the insights they drop. It's wild. Like they accidentally created this business masterclass just by talking.
So, like, we get to be flies on the wall for a business brainstorming session. I like it.
Exactly. And our mission is to pull out that wisdom, the stuff they don't even realize they're sharing. They start by talking about communication. And Maria makes this point. She says, running a business without clear communication is like cooking without a recipe.
Ooh, I like that analogy.
Right. What do you think about that?
It's so true. I mean, think about it. Communication is the backbone of everything in business. If you don't have that, it all falls apart. Like, imagine launching a product and the marketing team is promoting features the developers haven't even finished yet.
Oh, that's a nightmare scenario.
It is. It happens more than you think. And it's all because of miscommunication.
Oh, yeah. It reminds me of this one time. Well, maybe that's a story for another day. But think about your own experiences. Have you ever been in a situation at work where, like, poor communication just caused a whole mess? How did that play out?
Well, I'm sure everyone listening has a story about that. I know I do. But I think the key takeaway is that we need to recognize how crucial clear communication is. And we got to actually work on getting better at it. It's a skill, right? You can improve.
Totally. Like, it's not just about being able to explain things clearly. It's also about really listening and making sure you understand what other people are saying.
Absolutely. Active listening is so underrated.
Right. It's a two-way street.
Yeah.
Okay, so these English learners also get into leadership. And James tells this funny story about a boss who thought bringing donuts to meetings was like the ultimate leadership move.
Okay, donuts are delicious, but I don't think they're going to solve all your leadership problems.
Right. Maybe they boost morale a tiny bit. But what really matters is having a leader who can inspire and motivate. A leader who has a vision, and knows how to get everyone on board.
Absolutely. Vision is huge. A good leader needs to set a clear direction for the business and make sure everyone understands how their work fits into the big picture.
So we're talking vision, strategy, positive work environment. What else makes a great leader, in your opinion?
Well, adaptability is crucial, right? The business world is changing so fast. A good leader has to be able to adjust to new challenges, new opportunities, and they have to empower their team to do the same.
That's such a good point.
Yeah.
Being able to roll with the punches is key. Okay, let's shift gears a bit and talk about marketing. Maria uses this analogy. It's a classic. If a tree falls in the forest and no one is around to hear it, does it make a sound?
Yeah, I see where she's going with that.
Right. She's basically saying you can have the most amazing product or service in the world, but if nobody knows about it, it doesn't matter.
It's like shouting into the void.
Exactly. And in today's world, there's so much noise. So many businesses competing for attention. How do you cut through all that and actually get heard?
That is the million-dollar question. And I think it starts with understanding your audience.
Right.
Like, who are you trying to reach? What are their needs? What problems are you solving for them? Once you know that, you can tailor your marketing to speak directly to them.
So it's not about just like blasting your message out to everyone. It's about being strategic.
Exactly. It's about finding the right people and delivering the right message at the right time.
Okay, so targeted marketing, and then there's networking, which they also talk about. And they actually have a pretty funny take on it.
Oh, yeah. What was it? Dating without the pressure.
Yes. I love that. They're basically saying that networking is all about building relationships, right? Like making connections, finding common ground.
And that's so important. It's not just about collecting business cards. You got to actually nurture those relationships, find ways to support each other.
Have you ever had a networking experience that like unexpectedly led to something really good for your work?
Oh, absolutely. Just last month, I met someone at a conference, and we just hit it off, talking about our work. And it turns out she had connections to this potential investor I was trying to reach.
Wow. See, you never know what can come from just striking up a conversation.
Right. It's all about putting yourself out there, but in a genuine way, People can spot a phony from a mile away.
Yeah, for sure. It's
Yeah.
got to be authentic. Okay, so we've talked about the importance of networking in general, but these English learners also touched on marketing in the digital age, which is like a whole other beast.
It is. And they were spot on in recognizing how crucial social media is for businesses these days. I mean, that's where everyone is.
Right. If you want to reach people, you got to be where they are.
Exactly. But just having a profile isn't enough. You need a strategy.
Okay, so what does a good social media strategy look like?
Well, first, you got to define your goals. What are you trying to achieve with social media? Are you trying to build brand awareness, drive traffic to your website, generate leads? Once you know your goals, you can start figuring out who you're trying to reach and what kind of content will resonate with them.
So it's kind of like with marketing in general, right?
Yeah,
Targeted approach.
absolutely. It's all about finding the right people and delivering the right message. And social media gives you so many different ways to do that.
But with so many platforms out there, it can feel overwhelming. Where do you even begin?
Yeah, it can be a lot. Don't try to be everywhere at once. Focus on the platforms where your target audience is most active.
Okay, that makes sense. Quality over quantity, right?
Exactly. And once you've chosen your platforms, you need to start creating content that's engaging and informative, and that aligns with your overall business goals.
What about things like SEO and content marketing? I know those are buzzwords these days. What are they all about?
Right. So SEO stands for search engine optimization. And it's basically about making sure your website shows up in search results when people are looking for things related to your business.
So if someone searches for, like, best coffee in Seattle, and you have a coffee shop in Seattle, you want your website to be at the top of the list.
Exactly. And there are a lot of different factors that go into SEO, like using the right keywords in your website content, making sure your website loads quickly and is mobile friendly. There's a whole science to it.
Okay, that sounds pretty technical. What about content marketing?
Content marketing is all about creating valuable content that attracts and engages your target audience. This could be blog posts, articles, videos, infographics, pretty much anything that provides information or entertainment that your audience will find helpful.
Well, it's not just about selling your product directly. It's about building relationships and providing value.
Exactly. When you create content that people actually want to consume, they're more likely to trust you. And eventually, they might become customers.
It's a long game, not a quick fix.
Exactly. And it all ties back to what we were talking about earlier with building those authentic relationships.
So we've covered communication, leadership, marketing, and networking. These English language learners really hit on some key business principles, huh?
They did. And it's funny because they're just having this casual conversation, but they're revealing these timeless truths about business.
I'm noticing a theme emerging here. It seems like adaptability is super important in today's business world.
Oh, absolutely. Things are changing so fast. If you're not willing to adapt, you're going to get left behind.
What are some of the biggest changes you've seen in recent years?
Well, the rise of e-commerce has been huge. The way people shop has completely transformed.
True. Our English learners didn't specifically talk about e-commerce, but it's clearly a major force in the business world these days. What advice would you give to businesses trying to navigate the online world?
Well, first and foremost, you gotta have a website that's user-friendly. I mean, that's your online storefront, right? It needs to be easy to navigate, visually appealing, and optimized for mobile devices.
It's like the digital equivalent of curb appeal.
Exactly. You want people to feel welcome and want to come inside. And once they're there, you need to make sure the experience is seamless and that they can easily find what they're looking for.
Okay, so a great website is crucial. What else is important for success in e-commerce?
High-quality product photos and descriptions are essential. People can't physically touch the product, so you have to do a good job of showcasing it online.
Right, and customer reviews are huge too, right?
Huge. Social proof is so important online. People want to know that others have had a positive experience with your product or service.
And what about customer service? Is that different in the e-commerce world?
Definitely. You don't have that face-to-face interaction, so you have to be even more responsive and proactive in addressing customer inquiries and concerns.
Okay, so e-commerce is a whole other world with its own set of challenges and opportunities.
Absolutely, but it's an exciting world and one that offers incredible potential for growth.
Speaking of growth, I think it's time we circle back to our English language learners and the final bit of wisdom they shared.
You mean the part where they talked about how business is constantly evolving?
Yes, that was such a powerful takeaway.
It is, right. It's a reminder that we can never stop learning. We have to be adaptable and always be looking for new ways to improve.
It's like they're challenging us to think about the future of business and what skills and knowledge will be essential for success.
Exactly. And that's what makes this whole deep dive so valuable. It's not just about giving you the answers. It's about giving you the tools to ask the right questions and to keep learning and growing as the business world evolves.
So we've covered communication, leadership, marketing, networking, e-commerce. It's a lot to take in, but I feel like there's one big takeaway from all of this.
You're talking about adaptability, right?
Yeah. Our English learners, they didn't say it outright, but their whole conversation just screamed, Business is constantly changing. You got to be able to roll with it.
It's so true. Like what worked 5 years ago might not work today, and what works today might be obsolete tomorrow.
It's a wild ride, for sure. And it makes you wonder, like, what skills do we need to be developing now to be successful in the future? What trends should we be paying attention to?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And I think that's where this deep dive has been so helpful. It's given us a framework for thinking about business. It's like we've got this foundation now, and we
Okay.
can build on it as the world changes.
Exactly. It's not about having all the answers. It's about having the right mindset and the willingness to keep learning and growing.
I love that. So as we wrap up this deep dive, let's remember what we've learned. We've talked about the power of clear communication, the importance of genuine leadership, the ever-changing landscape of marketing, and the strategic value of building strong networks.
And the need for adaptability.
Yeah,
We've got to be lifelong learners, always curious, always evolving.
absolutely. So to everyone listening, keep exploring, keep experimenting, and never be afraid to try new things. The world of business is full of possibilities.
This has been an incredible deep dive. I've learned so much. Thanks for joining me today.
It's been my pleasure. And to all our listeners, keep those business brains buzzing.